Welcome to the Art of Grace podcast, where God is creating a better you. I'm your host, Farah. Today's special guest is none other than Christine Hunter-Carmichael of the Flemming Academy of Etiquette and Protocol, where her motto is going beyond please and thank you. Listen in as Christine shares about the art of etiquette. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Art of Grace. Listen, I am so excited. It's your number one Grace girl coming to you from Richmond, Virginia. I'm so excited.
So excited.
I am excited because this is like another one of my impromptu recordings because I have been wanting to interview Christine Carmichael for so long. And I said, I had on my little bucket list of coming to Richmond that I had a few people I wanted to interview, but she was one of my top ones. And so on the way here, I said to my friend who I was driving down with, I'm going to bring some podcast equipment with me and I'm going to find her.
Wow.
I don't care if I have to drive to where she's at, which I did.
Yes.
And we'll get into where we're at and how beautiful it is in this little city right here. But I was at a summit this weekend. I came here for a last minute summit. It's like, I'm going to be teaching on something called divine detours. And so that is going to be one of my things. But I swear to you, I get to the summit, and I was walking out and leaving.
You were walking out.
I was walking out and bumped smack dab into Christine.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, I was gonna call you. I literally brought my podcast equipment with me so I can record with her because I've been following her on social media and what she's doing is so different. There's a few people that I meet that do things that God has told them to do that your fingerprint is on that. Like nobody's really doing what you're doing as an African American woman. And I really wanted to bring her on to share with you all what she's doing. And so I was so excited to bump into her. It was a divine connection. It was a divine detour. Yes. And I'm so happy that I brought some equipment with me. Now, can I tell you, before we started recording just now, the preparation should have been another recording because it was hilarious in here.
Hilarious.
Listen, she was helping me with everything and putting the details together. I mean, we're in here talking about our kids. Sorry, boys. We need your help, our executive producers.
Yes.
But just the setup of it all, we were learning from each other in that moment. And I'm so excited to talk about what she does. But I first want to read her bio to you all. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. I want you to don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. I always forget to do that. And also, we want to hear from you. We want you to, to send your questions in. We want to hear, how the podcast is blessing you. I get so many calls and messages from you all, and it's blessing my socks off because I will tell you that, like we were just saying, starting to do these things and get into this content creator space and influencer and all of that. It's a lot of work. Like it's a lot of little details that come with it. And I'm a perfectionist and I want things to be so good. So when you all tune in, you get a good quality video and sound and stuff. And so I hope that this has really been blessing you. But I want to get to my guest today, Christine Carmichael. Oh my God. So she is a certified etiquette consultant. So different. And I mean, it reminds me of another friend that I interviewed recently who is a friendship consultant.
Ooh.
So different. And I feel like they're in this space in this lane where like a lot of people are not tapping into this. And so Christine's also a motivational speaker. She's the founder and CEO of the Flemming Academy of Etiquette and Protocol. Protocol?
Yes.
Christine has a strong career backtrack of over 25 years in customer service and client relations. She has trained and spoken in various venues to hundreds of people across the country and internationally. Christine has appeared in numerous news and talk shows, which I did see that, online, which was amazing. I love that.
Thank you.
Including Virginia This Morning, WRIC Channel 8, so for you local people that's here, and local Comcast programming. She has been quoted in print, which is amazing, and online in publications such as Richmond Times-Dispatch, and most recently, Southern Living Magazine.
Yeah, that was so amazing.
What an accomplishment.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What an accomplishment. I love it. She brings a wealth of diverse experience in helping individuals, regardless of education and professional background, to achieve greatness in understanding their humanity and applying etiquette in their personal and professional lives. As a respected etiquette coach, Christine brings a sincere passion to helping people of all walks of life embrace the arts, which I love that, of etiquette. Her conversational presentation style quickly puts her audience at ease and helps them to understand the power of demonstrating appropriate etiquette for their life's everyday situations. Christine believes that etiquette empowers one's image, builds confidence, and deepens authentic interpersonal connections and relationships. The result is a stronger and diverse communities which expand her network. Christine enjoys travel, including staycations, and actively supports mutually beneficial charitable organizations. Christine enjoys spending time with her 5 children and precious grandsons. Welcome, my special guest, Mrs. Christine Carmichael.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Farah.
You know, as I was thinking about you this weekend, the etiquette thing is so perfect for you, right? Because you had already been carrying this calling from the day that I met you. And I'm going to tell you why.
Wow.
When I met you and your 5 children, everybody was so well behaved. There was already a spirit of excellence there.
Wow.
There was already a spirit of that etiquette there. And to see you take that, which you were already doing with your family, and then bringing it into this space.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that it was already there.
I don't think I knew that.
I mean, in what we were seeing, right?
Yes.
Us as women, because I mean, having a big family is a lot.
It is.
Usually, moms who have a lot of kids, not usually, let me take that back. It can be you can be tired, frustrated, that energy, the kids being busy, one of them over there on the floor.
Yes.
Your family, it was just, you just saw that.
To God be the
And
glory.
so God showed me that this weekend about you. And so I want you to know that I've met you many years ago.
Yes.
I mean, your kids were little.
Yes, they were little.
You know, and to see you move into this space, it was so perfect for you. And I don't know if you knew that.
Thank you.
And so I want to hear your story of how you decided to start this business.
Yes. Oh,
you know, I mean, what happened? You know, what made you say, I'm going to go, I have this customer service piece.
Yes.
And God has put something in me to create this space for us being etiquette, not just another culture, right? But our culture as well.
Exactly.
You know, what happened?
Exactly. That's a great question. So for me, it really was, I was with a girlfriend one summer and we were talking, and the conversation sparked because I saw some behavior that was inconsiderate. Initially, it started off with me seeing a young man and a group of his friends, and they were in the vicinity of an older lady carrying her groceries. Wow. And they were really close by, and she was struggling. And I could see it because I always make it, I try to be more self-aware just of where I am. And I saw her, but she was not close enough where I could help her. Yeah. And she was struggling with her groceries, and here these young men were. I saw that they saw her because one of them looked, but they disregarded her. They didn't even think twice about helping her. Wow. So that was one instance. The second instance, very soon after that, where another young man is walking into a gas station and he rushes in front of an older gentleman who is visually, I could see that he has an impediment. Did he open the door for him? Did he hold the door open for him? He did not. Wow. So not only did he not do that, but he went in front of him. And I was talking to my girlfriend Sherry about it. And we both were just talking about how our young people need a little bit more support. And so it was out of that. And I think she was kind of like, you know what, they need some etiquette. And I said, yes, they need some etiquette. Wow. And so it was birthed out of that. It was birthed out of me seeing other people's pain and a lack of respect and courtesy and saying, my goodness, there's got to be something more. So that's what brought this about.
And I think that was the Holy Spirit, because I from what you're doing, I saw you doing it with your children. And so for you to say this, it just, because I mean, I could have been wrong by saying that. I could have been, you know, it could have not been the Holy Spirit, but that's what the Lord showed me when that came up. I just used to watch you and your tribe and I saw that you were already instilling that inside of them, you know? And so now you decided to put this edit. So, I mean, how'd you come up with the name?
Right.
You know, how'd you come up with the name?
Well, I am a first generation West Indian from Canada. Okay. So my parents are from Jamaica. Wow. And so Jamaica is a part of the British rule. Yeah. And so a lot of their customs and courtesies carried over. Okay. And I actually didn't know that until I started studying etiquette. I'm like, oh, my grandmother did that. Oh, my grandmother said that. Oh, my mom, right? So then I was able to connect them. But I never met my great-grandfather, but my mom shares stories of my great-grandfather, and his name is Flemming. Oh. His name is Flemming. And what was so touching for me was the fact that my great grandfather, every night there was dedicated to something specific. So one night he taught them about economics. Another night, my mom said there was jokes. Another night there was life skills. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so, isn't that incredible?
And she shared this with you. So
my mom shared this with me.
So these pieces of history, did it come after you decided to do the etiquette?
Yes, after, yes. So I did not connect it until after. So when I was looking for a name, I said, wow, I'm going to name it after my great grandfather.
I love that.
Yeah. I was just blown away, like, wow, all of this was there and I never knew it. Right.
But I mean, it would have been in you because you were teaching your kids to do it, but you were teaching it not knowing where the foundation came from.
Exactly. Not knowing where the foundation came from. But here's the kicker. It's kind of, that has opened up another space for me because just a few years ago, I got into the education field, right? Yeah. And so I worked at an elementary school as the office secretary. Wow. So with me working there, I had an opportunity to meet educators and people in leadership and stakeholders and learn more about education. Yes. And I've been connected with the most amazing educators. I have so much respect for what they do in and out of the classroom. Yes. I've learned so much. And so with that, I have, God has placed in my heart a burden for our young people. Okay. In particular, our young African-American boys. Wow. Right? And so I'm believing God for one day to be able to partner with someone who wants to do some very specific programming for them, because all of our children, but in particular our boys, sometimes they learn a little differently and people don't understand that. They don't have the time, the patience, but I like to see some very specific targeted programming for them.
So listen, for anybody watching this episode today, right? Boys and Girls Club, you know, any type of boys programs. It could be a basketball team that you want them to work on etiquette. I mean, because etiquette sounds like to us like this table setting type thing, but it's more than that.
It's much more than that.
Much more than that, right? I mean, because we want our youth to do better.
Yes.
And so, listen, Christine is opening up her heart. Her services are here. She's also a motivational speaker. Look her up. At the end of this episode, we'll have all of her platforms, and I want you to reach out to her. And if you have kids in your family, right? Some little boys, get them together and maybe you can set some time up to meet with her on this. Exactly. Not just little boys, because we're going to get more into that.
Yes.
So, so I tied it into the young kids, but it's not just about the young kids, right? No. It's also about just all of us.
All of us. Exactly.
All of us.
Exactly. Because see, here's the thing. When I walk into the room and I talk about etiquette, depending on who I'm talking to. So I have the opportunity of working with businesses and organizations. So we're talking adults. So people are typically uptight. And I tell them, relax. This is a classroom setting. We're here to learn together. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to support you and help you.
Yes.
But what I hope to leave with them is the fact that etiquette is about respect.
Yes.
It's about respect and consideration for yourself first, and then for others. So when I respect myself, I show up differently.
Yeah.
I show up differently.
Oh, yes.
And so it's just kind of getting people to think a little bit differently about etiquette. Yes, it does include dining etiquette and social etiquette, and because there's a way to do things. Yes. And I always refer back to one of my favorite speakers of all time, the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe.
Oh, my goodness. Who I listen to quite often.
I mean, this man has mentored me from the grave, okay? Yes. And one of the things that he said that I say in every setting that I can is that he says, where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. So if there is abuse, you can also call that misuse. Yes. And so what I share with folks, especially my young adults and my teenagers, that there is a purpose to everything.
Yes.
And if you don't know how to use it, then you are misusing it.
Wow.
Right? And so that's what we're doing here today. We're learning about place setting. We're learning how to properly use everything that's here. Yes. It's not just for some people.
Yes.
It's for all of us.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they need to know that they belong.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's really near and dear to my heart, because oftentimes people feel ostracized or they're rejected because of where they came from, the color of their skin, their gender, the sexual orientation. We're all God's children.
That's right.
And the one thing that connects all of us is our humanity. So we're going to focus on our humanity, right? And if we can do that, then we all belong. We belong in the room.
Absolutely.
And so my goal is to prepare you so that when you walk in the room,
yes,
honey, you are confident.
And confident and comfortable.
Yes.
And so many of us, and we were just talking about this before we started recording, is about the whole elevator pitch stuff and just going into a room and introducing yourself to somebody.
Yes.
And not being afraid to do that. And what do you say? And I'm sure that, I'm sure that with the table settings and everything, this goes back so far to what our ancestors had to deal with, right? Not eating, not feeling like they can come to the table.
Right.
And so what did you start with? What did you start with when you decided to start this company? Was it just place settings? Because you do a lot of reels, and little videos, and little quick little, things to go on there and just let us know, about etiquette. But where did you start at?
So I started with the dining etiquette.
Okay.
There were other areas that I was more interested in, but that's what people wanted.
Okay.
So one of the things I've learned, it's at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's about what everyone else wants. It's about what you want. It's about my targeted audience.
Yes.
And how can I show up and give you value?
Exactly.
You don't want to know about me per se. I know there's like all this get ready with me and I get that part, but people want to know, how can you benefit me? What value can I get from my life?
Yes.
And so I saw that it was dining etiquette. So that's where we started. We started with the dining etiquette.
Yes.
But there's so much more that I mentioned, like the business etiquette, the social etiquette. And I'm excited because we're getting into the space now of more of a emotional intelligence with professional development. And I really love that because in my own personal journey, I'm becoming more self-aware.
Yes.
And that's important because you can think you're one way, but there's more to it, right? And so other people experience me and I may not recognize that.
Oh, wow.
So you need to know.
Yes.
You need to know. And it can be painful.
Yes.
Listen, it can be painful
so I'm sure
to
you
hear.
get a lot of feedback. And so,
yes.
Okay, so with the etiquette, courses that you're doing, because a lot of people don't eat together. So
Right.
that's another thing.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking about how many times I come home and I go sit in a totally different area than my kitchen island or my kitchen, my dining room table, and the conversation.
Yes.
And my husband's gonna probably get upset that I say this, but I remember saying to him, if we go to dinner with my staff and my doctors, you are over there just eating. You are literally not connecting with anyone. And it goes back to that etiquette thing and what we were doing at home. We're just mimicking what we're doing at home, right? We're just mimicking that we're coming home, we're tired, we just pick up our plates, microwave, and just go sit wherever. Oh, you go sit over there and I go sit over here. And so every month, I have a set of friends, we get together to play cards and we rotate houses.
I love it.
And when I go to, last month, I was hosting, I think the month of June, and I was doing the place settings and I had no idea where to put anything. I said, well, I'm going to just make it look pretty and stick the forks in the napkins over here. And I know this is so beautiful, but I thought about you in that moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to learn some etiquette.
Oh, we're at the right place.
Yes. And so what does that look like? I mean, not just a table setting, but just your sitting, your conversations, because I think that we've made so much of our getting together about food.
Yes. And
I have a friend of mine who is, hello, Sheila, a really good friend of mine. She's, doing some amazing things called Fit for the Masters. She's she's into health and etiquette,
I love
health and everything.
Oh, yes.
And she told me, she was like, when we go to dinners with our families, it's not just about the food.
It's not just about the food. It's a big part of it, though.
It's a big part of it, but it's the company and,
exactly.
And just enjoying that time and that space together.
That's right.
So is that something that you talk about?
It is. And so when I start my presentation on the dining etiquette piece, I have this one slide that I love and it says, food is good, right? And everybody agrees with me. Yes, food is good. And then I go on to say food is good. Food is better, sometimes better with other people, and everyone agrees.
Yes.
And I tell them a story of how I'm thankful that I can enjoy this time now of eating food by myself, because there was a time where I had all the children around me and I felt like I was a referee because it was fights and everything going on. Like, Mom, she took this from me and you told me I can have this chicken wing, and like this whole back and forth. But then I also go on to say that with that, the purpose of us getting together is because I want you to be so comfortable with what we do here that the focus is on people.
Yes.
The focus is not on food.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You're focusing on, because you're wanting to engage in conversation. You're getting to know someone or, reacquainting yourself with someone.
Yes.
And so you don't want to be so focused that you don't know which fork to use and you're fumbling and that's all you're thinking about in your subconscious and so you're missing out on opportunities.
Absolutely.
So I agree. Food is good. Food is great. It helps to bring us together, bring people together, but
Yes.
that's not what the focus is.
Yes, that's not the focus. Okay, so
Mhm.
we're going to get to some of your questions. So the importance of etiquette. Why do you believe etiquette is important in today's society?
So etiquette is important because, unfortunately, the culture that we live in, there's a lot of disrespect.
Okay.
And we can look around us today, even in our current political state. There's a lot of
it's normalized, right? It's
Yes.
like, oh, they said that, or it's not a big deal, or that's just the language.
Yes. There's a lot of
It's the
disrespect.
language, right?
It's a lot of, and it is seeping into every aspect of our lives. And so etiquette is important because, number one, it's about respect. It's about being inclusive, right? Learning about other people. That's important.
Yeah.
We don't live independent or lives. I like to say we live very interdependent lives, right? So what you do matters and what I do matters.
Exactly.
And together.
Yeah.
So that's one aspect of it. So that's one of the reasons etiquette is important. The other one is first impressions matter.
Oh my gosh.
They absolutely matter.
Do you hear that, people?
Yes.
I work in a dental office, and so I'm the first point of contact a lot of the times, right? So my phone etiquette has to be exceptional.
Yes.
When I answer that phone, I have to treat them like they're the only patient that I know today.
Yes.
That my doctor is the best doctor, that my staff is the best staff.
Yes.
And hey, when you come in, I'm fair. I'll take care of you when you come in.
Yeah.
And so phone etiquette is everything.
It is.
Right?
I need to hear you smiling on the phone.
Yes.
And that I do it all the time. So it's possible. I know it can be done. You may have to practice.
The empathy. They have to hear the empathy.
Oh, that's
the
huge.
Compassion.
Oh my goodness.
We care about, oh my gosh, so what brings you to our office? Do you want a cleaning? Or are you here because it's something that you want?
Yes.
Asking them what they want. And so the etiquette, I bring that through the whole experience, because etiquette is an experience. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
So let's talk about that, because why do you think that people are afraid to call these young kids out? And not only the young kids, because some of the adults, it can get fiery.
Very, very. I've worked with people where, we're having a meeting and we should be engaging in a meeting. And that's another thing, meeting etiquette. There's an etiquette for that. Number one, showing up prepared. But and they're having a conversation and I'm talking to you and you're not looking at me. You're not giving me any eye contact. And what we don't realize is when we don't make eye contact in our culture, in our Western culture, that sends a message. That's a message of distrust. That's a message that you have something to hide. You're not engaged. You don't really care what I have to say. That may not be what you're trying to convey, but that's what your body language is suggesting.
And that's what I'm perceiving when you do that.
Exactly.
Because it's my perception of you, even though maybe you're not trying to put that type of a message across. Right.
So it's important. And I've seen people miss out on opportunities because they didn't know how to navigate and how to manage that well. So it's really important for us to learn that. So yes, etiquette is important. There is an etiquette to almost everything. There's an etiquette, a ministerial etiquette. There's an etiquette that police officers abide by. There's an etiquette in the courtroom. There's an etiquette to everything.
Everywhere.
Right? We don't realize that, but
we don't. And you are so right that.
It's a way to do things.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a way to do things.
I love the way you're saying that, because we have just totally messed this up.
Yeah.
I think that we've just gotten so lax.
Right.
And for us, we grew up in an age, I know I did. I'm not sure if you grew up in the States, because you just mentioned your family, your background, right?
In Canada.
Did you grow up, Canada.
Yes.
So, here in the States, our parents were strict. They were very tough, and it was all about us keeping that etiquette.
Right.
And, being respectful.
Absolutely.
So we use the word respectful, but a big part of that is that etiquette.
Yes.
And so that was instilled in me. And I wanted to instill that in my kids. I didn't want to instill it in them with with
an iron rod.
Right. Being too harsh.
Right.
But if anybody told me that they saw my kid doing anything, I would probably lose it. They know to be respectful to adults.
Yeah.
And vice versa, for me to be respectful to them.
Talk about that.
Because even my children, I have to respect them as adult children now.
Yes. Ooh, that's huge right there.
Yes.
We can't say what we used to say. We've got to remember that they're adults, even if they don't always make the right decision or adult decisions that we would consider, but they're still adults. So I've had to learn that. We just can't address them the same way. So now, I have one of my daughters, I have to say to her, well, honey, have you thought about, right? Because I can't say it any other way, or else she's going to think I'm trying to control her.
Yes.
Right?
It comes across as control, for sure. Absolutely.
I can't do that. I have to suggest, well, have you thought about so-and-so? And then I have to sit back and wait, right?
So this is so good. good. Okay, so let's speak to parenthood. How can we as parents to adult children or even younger children use etiquette and respect to our children?
Well, I think number one is modeling it.
Okay. Yes.
So there's a saying, actions speak louder than words. And so beating them over the head might have worked for our generation, but it doesn't work for this generation.
No,
it doesn't work
not.
very well. So I think we have to model that. If that means you sign up for one of my classes to learn a little bit more, then you can do that, right?
Yes.
And there's lots of information out there anyways, but I think learning it for ourselves, becoming self-aware and modeling the behavior.
Yes.
With that, saying sorry, I'm sorry. I've had to say that to my adult children. I didn't know. I did the best I could with the information I had. I didn't know. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my action affected you that way, right? Because their perception and their purview is different from mine.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And then just getting them in the spaces where they can learn that. I have parents who actually sign up their children, not because they don't teach them etiquette, but they're like, she doesn't listen to me. I've been telling her the same thing, but bringing them to your class or, to your events, now they're hearing it from you. It sounds a little different.
Exactly. Wow. So what about, because we've gotten into this relationship side of etiquette, right? What about people that is so hard? Because, the Bible says you reap what you sow. And so somebody's sowing that to you, that which is total complete opposite of respect, and you trying to keep that poise and that etiquette that you have. Is there a way to do that by setting a boundary?
Absolutely. And you nailed it on the head. It's setting a boundary.
Yes.
Because I think there are times we want to fight back. We want to match energies. Right? Everybody says that.
Yeah, I know. I'm laughing because one of the ministers said that this weekend, and for the women, we grabbed that real quick because, against the devil, we want to match his energy.
Yeah.
But you're right. We want to match that energy.
Right.
And, to stay poised. I mean, because, yes, we're women of grace, and, we are women who, it takes a lot to get me to respond.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But when I respond, it's not going to be nice.
No.
I want to keep that etiquette.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to remember me in that. Because it's like it erases everything about
all the good.
you, right?
Yes.
All the good.
Yes. Yes.
You remember that one thing.
But
what led up to this? And it doesn't take away the fact that I still have a good character.
Right.
So how do you speak to that?
Woo. Sometimes you just have to walk away. Sometimes you have to bite your tongue.
Yes.
I've had to bite my tongue so hard where I think there was blood. So I think, and just, I definitely walking away and coming back and just saying, we're going to table this and I'm going to come back. The other thing that I do is, I need to educate you on this. And I feel like when I'm educating you on this, it comes off a little different. Some people might feel like, oh, you're trying to talk down to me. No, that's not the case at all. I'm educating you because if I don't educate you, it's going to continue to happen over and over again. So definitely that, but then setting those boundaries are important for us. People keep doing the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to change.
It's
not going to change. There is a amazing counselor, Pastor Paul Morgan, in the city. He's incredible. And I've had an opportunity to be in some sessions with him. And one of the things that he talks about is the levels of change, right? Not thinking about change. So his thing is, his premise is...
it's so hard for us as adults to change.
Well, see, his premise is this, that you can locate where someone is. And once you locate where they are in the levels of change, then it takes the pressure off of you. So you and I are friends, and you've brought something to my attention, right? But I'm not changing. I'm not changing because either I'm not thinking about it, I've dismissed what you had to say, or maybe I'm thinking about it but not ready to make the change. Now you see that. So you don't have to keep beating yourself up about it. You've located where I am. So now you can make an adjustment. It's not about me adjusting anymore. It's about you making an adjustment because I've shown you who I am.
It sounds like people's different growth levels, right? Like you may learn something and I don't learn it quick enough, or you've grasped this revelation and I don't get it yet. And so it does take the pressure off.
It takes the pressure off. It's like performance, right? Because I know who my God is and I know what his word says. Then I can rest in that and it takes the pressure off of me.
Absolutely.
We talk about matching energies, and a lot of times we as women of faith,
Mm-hmm.
we try to get into a wrestling match with the enemy.
Yes, we do.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
We've forgotten that he's been around for ages. We can't do a wrestling match with him.
Yeah.
But what we can do is use that word.
Yes.
Because there's power in the word.
Absolutely.
I can't beat him up. I can't see him.
Yes.
But I can use that word. I can do what Jesus did.
Yes.
When the enemy came to him, he said, this is what the word says, man shall not live by bread alone.
Yes.
He didn't freak out. He didn't lose it. He gave him the word.
Yes.
And so we need to get back to that word
Yes.
and use that word.
Because I'm so guilty of wanting to be a fixer, and actually a really good friend of mine today, she literally prayed for me today regarding that. Because I have been transitioning through all of these different friendships and relationships and just work relationships and, personal relationships, family. And it's that need to want to help someone or to serve and but you know what? It's time for you to take care of yourself, right? And then you can see what your purpose is, and you just have more clarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this a second ago. So the etiquette piece, how do you make this parallel with the word? Is there like a scripture, or is there something within your business that you said, okay, this matches the scripture?
You know what? There is, and I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
I'm going to have to let you know.
Okay.
But definitely there's a scripture.
So we're going to post that. And I just thought about that.
Yes.
She was talking about the scripture with Jesus and, the enemy trying to come at him and, taunt him and, try to get him to take this food. And he's like, no.
Yes.
It's the word or nothing. It's the word or nothing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's so good.
Oh my goodness.
That is so good. But I'll tell you what.
Yes.
A lot of it, of what I teach, is spiritual truths, right?
Okay.
So people don't realize that that's what they're getting. And that's what I love. Because it is rooted in the word. There are spiritual truths or universal laws. People get offended by that because they think, oh, that's so new age.
Yes.
But universal, meaning it works for everyone. There is not a gravity for Christians and a gravity for Muslims and a gravity for Buddhists. There's just gravity.
It's just gravity.
It's a universal law.
Yes.
Right? And so it's the same with the things that we believe. It's going to work for you regardless. It's not just for one group of people.
Yes. It's taking off, it's taking that thing off, or that stigma off. Okay, this is just for Christians, or this is just for you.
Right.
This is a law. And I love Dr. Miles Monroe because he ministers on so many amazing things.
Oh my goodness.
And as you're saying it, a lot of it has to do with etiquette.
Yeah.
A lot of it, and I love that his word is still out. Thank you to his family, honestly, because that you all didn't say we don't want our Father's voice to be out here in the earth, but that his voice is still speaking to the kingdom. Even now,
and it will for generations. And what's so amazing about Miles Monroe, his impact and his outreach and inreach is vast.
It's so
it
vast.
Is not just within the Christian movement or religion. I mean, it's in government.
Yes.
It's in politics.
Yes.
It's in kingdoms. It's in the marketplace. It is. Yes. It is everywhere.
It's amazing.
It is incredible. Yeah. It's incredible. So,
I try my best to listen to some of his teachings at least a few times a week for sure.
Yes.
Whether it's 1 or 5, I'll get on something with Dr. Miles Monroe, and I'm like, I feel like he's still here with us.
Still here. I heard a message he preached in 2008. I was like, wow, this. And at the time I listened to it, we were in the pandemic. And he was teaching about how to live in hard times, in a crisis. That was his message.
Exactly.
And it fit.
Well, I'm so happy that we're recording today because this can be used for so many years.
Yes.
Especially if you like, share, and subscribe, and comment.
I love it.
But, I would love for Christine's children to go back and let their children see this as well.
Oh, wow.
And because like you were doing the research on your grandfather.
Yes.
And how your mom and them had all this history, which needs to go into a book because I love the thing that he was doing every day with his family.
Every day with his family.
This
is in the 1900s. My grandmother was born in 1908. This is my great-grandfather. So she was born in 1908.
Yeah. And
this is way back then in Jamaica.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
I mean, when I heard that, I was like, wow, this is where I got it from. This is where it came from. So how important it is for us to know our history. Yes.
Do you think that the impact of, because I was trying to call my son and Christine said, do you think he's playing a video game? I said, he probably is. And then she called her son. He didn't answer either. And I'm like, they have so many distractions, right?
Right.
So that etiquette piece, we're not teaching them that because my son, I'll come home from work and, hey guys, dinner's ready. Okay, I'll come eat when I'm ready. Or, hey, so then none of us eat together. None of us do any of these things together. And we do a lot of things separately.
Yes.
And so where is that time and space for us to teach them that etiquette? Although we're modeling it for them, right?
Right.
But they're so engulfed in what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there are some things that are impacting that?
Well, definitely because the internet and technology definitely impacts that. And because the fact that we're in this microwave age, everything is now, nobody wants to wait for it. But I'll tell you a story. I had a parent who enrolled her student, her child, I'll call her Emma.
Okay.
Right? And Emma is shy, doesn't really have much of a voice. So parents were a little bit concerned. They wanted to see her be a little bit more confident.
Okay.
And so they enrolled her in my course. What was great about that was she's a sweet young lady, didn't really want to say too much, but after a few weeks of just working with her, teaching her how to speak up and how to own her voice, she started, talking a little bit more. But this is what got her. She loved learning about the place setting.
Okay.
I don't know what was said that touched her heart, but she wanted to now do the same for her family. So she went home and she asked if she could set the table.
Oh my gosh.
Her mom told me she was just amazed by what she did, right? She said she did everything you told her to do in terms of the forks going on the left and the knife and the spoon and the glass and how close it should be from the edge of the table and the napkin. And she said that she explained that to her whole family, right? So now she's speaking more.
Now she has a voice.
She's talking more. And this caused her to be an example even to her own siblings because now they're learning etiquette. But here's the thing. It seeped over into another area of her life. So now that she was owning her voice, she began to speak more, talk more to other people because she was getting that confidence. So I had a chance to see this transformation of this sweet young girl into someone who was more comfortable and confident with herself.
Yes.
So yes, there's so much I can say about that, but I get to see that and it's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting to see.
Because I will tell you, one of the biggest challenges that we're facing in our community, in our homes, families, as well as the workplace is communicating.
Yes.
Everybody communicates around each other.
Right.
It's a quick text message. Nobody wants to come and sit and have that knee-to-knee, eye-to-eye conversation, whether it's good or whether it's bad. They just will text you. So nobody knows how to talk. And just like, we don't come together to reason or to resolve conflict. Like all of these things have to do with the etiquette piece.
Have to do with the etiquette. And I'll tell you, I was talking with someone and recently I think it was my director, but anyways, we were talking and I said, well, I sent an email. I didn't get a response.
Okay.
So next, I'm not going to send another email.
Yes.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up the phone.
I'm going to call.
Have that conversation because sometimes I can't read your emotions or what you're really saying in an email. I have to hear your voice, the inflection, the tone. I've got to hear that. And sometimes I take it another step further and it's a face-to-face meeting.
Absolutely.
That's important. So if I'm not getting the answers I need, sometimes I'm going to have to go knock on someone's office door and say, hey, listen, do you have a moment? So I'm not going to just barge in there. I'm going to ask, do you have a moment? Because it may not be a good time.
Yes, exactly.
So that's another.
And then we get to know what's happening. Are you ignoring me? Or because if a text message doesn't come back, it's like you're ignoring me.
Right.
So now I feel disrespect.
Come on. And that may not necessarily be the case, right? There's so much going on. We get pulled in so many directions.
Yeah.
I can get a text message right now and then something else happens and I've forgotten about the text message. So that may not necessarily be the case.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes it's picking up that phone and making the phone call. It's okay. We don't have to hide behind the screen.
And I have had this happen even this year, like dealing with someone where I'm a communicator. I like to see you face to face. And this person likes to send someone else to either say what they have to say or just ignore the text.
Yeah.
And so then I feel dismissed.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I can't trust you. So all these things start happening.
Yes.
And then you as a person, like, okay, well, I'm going to treat this person differently. So everything shifts.
Everything shifts.
And so it all has to do with the etiquette.
It all has to do with the etiquette. So if we make it a practice, and listen, we're not perfect. We'll miss it.
Yes.
I've missed it plenty of times.
Yes.
But one thing I've learned, especially working at the Jefferson Hotel, one of my favorite places.
Oh my God.
One of my favorite places.
That place is incredible. I went there many years ago with a dental office here that I worked with for Christmas dinner, which is gorgeous for Christmas.
It's beautiful.
And it takes your breath away.
It does. Yeah.
It takes your breath away.
Yeah, the floral designer just goes bananas. Just crazy. But one of the things I learned my tenure there was, of course, paying attention to detail, but also that when we miss it, when we get it wrong, we want to make it right.
Yes.
And I love that. That's something I learned from them because we don't always get it right, but be willing to make a difference. Earlier, you mentioned being on the phone and showing empathy.
Yeah.
That's really also important because I remember talking to some of my parents at school, and maybe they didn't give me all the information that was needed to register their child, or maybe I found out, well, you don't live in our zone, so you can't. I can't have an attitude when I'm giving bad information, bad news. I've got to show that I'm concerned about you.
I'm so
and
concerned.
I'm so sorry this didn't work out, but let me give you the phone number to this other school.
What can I do to assist you?
What can I do to assist you? Not, well, oh, well, too bad.
And then the phone call is over and done with.
No, not at all. You've got to show some empathy. And when people feel like you truly care about them, like Maya Angelou said, right? People don't really want to know. They can listen to what you say, but they're not going to really care until they know how much you care.
Exactly.
So when people know that you care, it's a little bit different. They can swallow it a little bit different.
Absolutely.
Right. So I just, when you said that, it made me think of that.
Yeah, because I mean, in the workplace, I mean, I do deal with that a lot because I'm dealing with the public and I'm dealing with people who may be in pain. They just may be, you know, embarrassed. So many different things when it comes to your mouth and stuff. And I get it. And so I treat everyone the same.
Yes,
so just because the etiquette piece is not, you know, it's like, okay, it's just for the rich person. No, it's for everyone.
Because we're in the business of people.
Exactly.
Regardless of what industry and whether you're a realtor. I went to my ortho a couple of years ago and I was so impressed with him because his assistant, the technician, was helping him. Every time she did something for him, he asked for something, he said, thank you. I was so impressed. He said,
etiquette?
Can I? Yeah, he said, thank you. Thank you. I was like, wow, I was so impressed. I sent him a message saying that is awesome.
I love that because, you know, working in the field that we work in, I mean, it can be high stress. And so, and then now a lot of the workplaces are short staffed.
Yes. Ooh.
And so you want to keep the people that you have.
Yes.
And just say thank you.
And you know what? I think sometimes we forget good people have options.
Yes.
They have options.
Absolutely.
So if you've got a good person working with you and for you, you need to recognize that because they have options. They don't have to stay there.
Oh yeah, they're gonna. So I mean, you know, years ago you might not have had options, but now I think everyone's in demand right now. Even people working. We appreciate you at Wawa. I went to Wawa yesterday. I had the nicest girl work with me, Yvette. If you're watching, because I'm going to give you a great review.
That's awesome.
I went to my car, pumped the gas. Well, Rita's car. My friends blessed me with a vehicle. And I went back inside to get her name to say, I want to give you a good review because you took good care of me when I was in here. Just for the 5 seconds that she checked me out.
Yes.
She took time with me. She was funny. She was lighthearted. And she was doing multiple things at a time. But she still paid attention to me.
To you.
And so I love that etiquette that she had. So that was a rough Wawa too, because it was on Brook Road and it was a little rough over there. And I was like, let me lock this car up real fast because it was so crazy.
Oh my
so goodness. I'm looking at this. So you do the dining etiquette, social etiquette. I mean, we've talked about so many different things. Let's talk about the global etiquette. So can you share some interesting differences in dining or social etiquette across countries?
Certainly. So in our Western culture, we pretty much focus on 2 styles of dining etiquette. You've got the American style and the continental or European style. The continental style is the more formal style. And that is where you keep your fork in your left hand and your knife in your right hand. Or you could say in your, whichever, if you're left-handed would be the opposite. Right? But the thing with the continental is you never put that knife down. It stays in your hand. You just rest your wrist and then your fork is inverted and you pivot to your mouth and you eat that way. American style is different. You cut and then you rest your knife and then you switch hands.
And then you get the fork.
Right. That's different. Now in other countries, they use less knives and forks and they might use their hand. Right? They're no less refined than we are. It's just another style of dining. So it's important that we recognize those cultural differences so that when we go other places, we don't offend them. Right. So that's another, just using your hands. How do you, it's okay. This is their culture.
I'm sitting here and I hate to interrupt Christine with this one because I have been traveling and when I go to other places, I try to be so respectful about the cultures, right? And I hate to say this, but sometimes I go over to other countries and see people from the States just acting nuts, treating them disrespectfully, you know, being rude to the people that's there, the people that are helping us. And so when I travel, I try to bring something that I know that they won't have there, like maybe it's some type of a candy. And I had someone tell me this, and I'll always, like put, a tip with the candy or some kind of piece of chocolate or like a different type of mint, something that they would not have.
I love that.
And the last time I traveled, my roommate had some shoes that she didn't like. I said, maybe somebody here can use them, because I mean, these people who work here, they're not making a lot of money.
Oh, wow.
And I said, you could maybe give it to one of the maids or something like that.
Yeah.
And the person was so happy, and just like you said, the food, so many places have appease us, and they have all this American food, and I'm like, well, I came here to experience your
culture, right?
I don't want so bad that they do that. You go to the breakfast and there's pancakes, it's all the same stuff I eat here, and I'm like, I wanted to experience your food.
Exactly.
And so, how do you speak to that?
Well, I would say that the world doesn't revolve around us. We're a great country. We're doing great things, but the world doesn't revolve around us. And there are other cultures out there. And so we need to be respectful, and we can learn from other people.
Absolutely.
We don't have all the answers. We don't have it all. So I think that's rooted in etiquette in terms of respect and consideration, being respectful to someone else and wanting to learn. Right.
Yes.
I think that's just number one. So of course, just practicing.
And I think that going to other countries, I know that sometimes we'll go to and I watched this recently. We go to a resort and we stay on the resort with all the American food, all the American people, and we never get to venture out.
Yes.
I know that sometimes it's a thing of safety, but when you're traveling, try your best to get out and enjoy some of the authentic foods.
I agree.
And just touch the people, if it's a safe place.
If it's a safe place, exactly.
The young lady who I travel with with Atiba, I'm giving her a shout out because her business is so incredible. And she always finds things for us to do off of the resort.
She has a travel business?
She does. Okay. And she's amazing. And she's a really good friend of mine. We used to work together many years ago. And she started a travel business.
Wow. And
so when we go away, she finds different things for us to do together off the resort property. She'll get like a person to drive us safely to places who knows the region, so that way we can get back safely.
Right. That's the key.
So I love that. And I visited Costa Rica recently for my niece's wedding, and she did the same thing. She hired a driver who brought us to places off the property, maybe safe or unsafe, but he was there with us the whole time. And we had some authentic food.
I hear it's beautiful out there.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I want to go back just to enjoy nature.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to go back. I went for her wedding, and so I didn't do like a lot of the outdoorsy things I wanted to do. But just try to enjoy those places instead of going and just doing the same things, So let's talk about some practical tips.
Okay.
Some scenarios.
All right.
So what are your top 3 etiquette tips that everyone should practice daily? That's a good one.
Ooh, okay.
That's a good one.
It is. Number 1, making eye contact.
Yes.
Making eye contact.
Making eye contact.
But let me say this. I know it's difficult for some of us because maybe we're shy, we're not accustomed to, we weren't brought up to make eye contact, or because in some cultures, you don't make eye contact, right?
Yes.
And I understand that. But in our Western culture, we make eye contact. Mm-hmm. So I would say, number 1, practice making eye contact.
You know what? I am not good with that either.
You're doing a great job.
But when I'm at work and I'm talking, I think it's because of the distractions too. So
I'm
at the desk, I'm looking at the computer, somebody's coming up, asking me a question, and I'm just still, and I'm not looking at you really. I'm like, okay, I'm listening like this.
Right.
But I want to make eye contact with you.
Yes, making eye contact is important. And one of the ways for you to practice is looking in the mirror. Really look at yourself, right?
Look at yourself.
And the other, here's a couple other tips. When you're looking at someone, you can also look at the bridge of their nose or their eyebrows. So if you try that with me, if you look at the bridge of my nose, I can't tell that you're not making eye contact with me.
Okay.
So it still looks as if you're making eye contact with someone. So you can do that to practice until you feel more comfortable.
I love that.
Right?
But don't laugh when you're doing it.
Right.
Don't laugh when you're doing it.
Right. Don't do that.
Don't laugh and don't look in the nose. Just look at the nose. Don't say it's back to the cave. Just look at the nose or the eyebrows. And eyebrows. Black girls, we know how the eyebrows can look because it's a hot mess going on out there with these eyebrows right now.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm bad with my eyebrows. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can someone gracefully correct another person's etiquette mistake without offending them?
Okay. So that's a big one because sometimes you can't do that because they will be offended.
Okay.
And so I tend to only do that with people that I know would either receive it or comfortable with me because they know that my intent is not to hurt you.
Yes.
My intent is to help you. Mm-hmm. Right. But let's say that
so I was going to say, what might one of those etiquette mistakes be?
Right.
Yes.
So let's say we're at a restaurant and you have something on your face, right? So I might just go like this to you so you can go ahead. Because when I do this, what are you going to do?
Okay, I'm like,
yeah.
Right. Because I see nothing on your face, so I'm going to get it.
Right. Maybe it's someone who has bad breath. Okay. I might offer them some gum or some candy.
Okay.
I'm not going to say,
without them knowing.
Yes,
that.
Exactly. Right. So that's something that you can do. Meeting people for the first time, like when you're networking.
Yes.
I met someone before, and I said her name was S-A-N-D. Her name was spelled S-A-N-D-R-A. What is that?
Sandra or Sandra.
Right. So her name is. I said Sandra, but it's Sandra.
Sandra.
Right.
Yes.
So she corrected me, but she did it in a nice way.
Okay.
Right. So someone else, they got rubbed the wrong way because the way that it was done. So I think that's important.
And to apologize. I'm so sorry, Sandra. Okay. I got it.
Sandra, thank you for correcting me. Right. So I think that's also very important. To the networking piece. So usually when you're networking, you're meeting people, we get all excited.
Yes.
Maybe we've done some research before, we know who we want to meet. But I would encourage you that when you're at a networking event, to think about you as the person of presenting value. Yes. Don't look at it as gimme.
Yes.
And I get it because we all want to be seen, heard, loved. We want people to know, what we're offering. But it's more important to find out what do they need.
Absolutely.
And how can I offer value for you? That's really important. Yes. And so there's this book written by Bob Bodine, The Power of Who. I love this book, The Power of Who. Power of Who. And the whole premise of the book is that you already know all the people you need to know. So who I don't know, you know.
Yes.
I don't know them, but I know you.
Yes.
So you can connect me to them.
Absolutely.
So because I know this, I don't have to bombard, or once I get into a networking event, act like I'm at a blackjack table and just pass out my cards like this. When I'm doing that, I'm not connecting with you.
You're not connecting at all.
I'm not connecting. At all. So the deal here is rest. Know that everything is lining up. All you have to do is connect with one or two people. Yes. I'm saying one or two, but it could be 3 or 4. But don't be in such a rush to connect with everyone.
Absolutely.
Right? Because somebody that you connect with knows somebody else who knows somebody else. Yes. So trust the process.
And get out to just more than one event.
There you go.
Not just one, it may be multiple. And you're going to see that person somewhere else, because I've been learning that.
Yes.
And I was sharing this with a friend today about that, because she was saying she wants to connect with people. I said, well, go to some networking groups.
Exactly.
I said, but when you go and you get that card, reach out to them. Hey, would you like to do a cup of coffee? I met you at the networking event 3 days ago, or whatever it is.
Send an email.
Send an email or send a little message, because they want to hear from you. But don't just take that card and, like you said, just throw it in the drawer, or just I want something out of it.
Exactly.
Because people can feel that, that genuine
thing.
They
can feel that. And there's actually a business card etiquette. Can I tell you what that is?
What is
Can I share that with our audience?
Oh, please, yes.
All right.
I want to know, because, so when I first started going to networking events, I did not have a business card, so I was embarrassed. So, what do you do? Oh, I'm a digital office operations manager, and I'm a content creator. Oh, you have your card with you? And so I went home and went on Canva.
Love Canva.
Me some cards. And then as soon as I got the card, I met somebody who had a digital card. Oh. So I love my digital card.
I love your digital card, by the way.
My digital card is like, I love it. And so here you go. You scan that, and it's like boom, boom.
And it's exactly. And it's great to have both, because sometimes, depending on the type of event, they actually want that paper card. Some people still want that paper.
Yes.
But at a networking event, when you're meeting someone where someone passes you their business card, that business card is an extension of them.
Yes, it is.
We have to remember that. So when you get that business card, don't just take it and shove it in your wallet, in your purse, in your pocket.
Yes.
Take a few moments and look at the card. That's what I tell my students. Look at the card, the front, the back, and tell them thank you.
Yes.
Right?
Oh,
so there's an etiquette to that. And when you're presenting your business card, pay attention to detail. So if I'm presenting you my business card, I'm going to present it to you right side up, so that all you have to do is receive it and look at it. You don't have to turn it around, figure out no.
So you're giving it to them like, they can see the front of the card.
That's right side up.
Wow.
Right side up. And that's the tip
we just did
this.
this.
No, because I value you.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not just throwing it at you.
Absolutely.
I'm placing it in your in your hand. I'll tell you a quick story. I went to, when was it? A few years ago, there was a networking event at Virginia State University.
Okay.
It was put on by a local SBA, I think.
Okay.
So got there, was excited. There was a lot of folks in the room.
Yes.
And it was like an all-day event. I got there like at 8:30, and they had complimentary breakfast for everyone.
Okay.
And so there was a group of us at this table, like maybe 3 of us,
Okay.
and some other folks came in. And so we were all talking and getting to know
Yeah.
each other. And then in comes this this lady later on, maybe an hour in, maybe
Okay.
not quite that much. She comes in, she's got a lot of stuff, I can tell.
Okay.
And she asks, can she have a seat? And of course we say yes.
Yes.
The minute she sat down, here comes a business card, like a blackjack table. One for you, one for you, one for you. And immediately the energy shifted.
Wow.
Because you just walked in.
Yes.
You walked in.
Yes.
You needed to sit down. You needed to test the temperature of the room,
Absolutely.
where you are. You needed to get a verbal cue or nonverbal cue from everyone else
Etiquette.
in order to in order for you
Etiquette.
to proceed. So now that you've shifted the room and now
Yes.
folks are like a little offended,
Yes.
they're not looking at your card.
No, they're not.
And then when I looked at her card, I was like, okay, she had stuff scratched out on the card. I was like, this is a no-go.
Yes.
If you can't present the card properly, then don't present it.
Don't present it
But the whole thing is, here you are giving us your information and you haven't even connected with us properly.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
important. It's important to do that.
Like, hey, did I miss anything? How you got? I mean, like,
exactly.
I try to find those common connections.
There you go.
But listening first.
Listening first. That's it. And that's what I tell my students. I said, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah.
So you need to listen more than you speak. It's very important. And that's another part of communicating is body language, right?
Absolutely.
So there is this American psychologist. His name is Albert Morabian. I think I said that right. And he has this theory that 93% of our communication is done through body language.
I believe it.
90-some%. That's a lot. That means a lot of things we're communicating with our body, right?
Yes.
So there are things that may not be said, but my body language is saying it.
Absolutely.
So that's really important that we learn what those positive body language cues are. So if you're talking to me and my arms are crossed, what am I saying?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to hear you.
Yes.
I mean, maybe I'm just cold.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. So it's that perception of things, but I can so see that whole thing with the body language.
Yes, very important.
Wow.
And we just have to practice because sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah. Walking in rooms, like you said, feeling comfortable walking in, getting your shoulders up. You know, how are you dressed? Are you standing straight up? How does your hair look? You have too much stuff showing, all of those things.
All of those things, they do matter.
Mm-hmm.
They do matter. And sometimes our young folks, they get offended because they're in this generation that says, don't judge me.
Yes,
and only God can judge me.
Yes.
Right? But what I tell them is that until things change where they are now in power and leadership, it's kind of the way that it is, right?
You know what? It's like putting authority in front of maturity.
Oh, I like that.
Right? It's like, okay, you haven't even learned that skill yet.
Wow.
And yet you want to be my boss.
Yeah.
But you have to learn the etiquette piece first and the customer service and all of these different things and the DEI and, races and all of these different things that we have to be conscious of.
We have to be conscious of.
You got to be so conscious of it.
Exactly.
And I love how your business, it blankets all of that. It's like, okay, this can blanket all of that.
Right, because it's about people.
It's about people.
It's about people. So regardless of whether you're in real estate or you're in a dental office or you're in education, it's about people.
So how do you bring that point across to people who you extend your services to? Because they're like, oh, etiquette, I don't know if my company needs that. How do you bring that to them to say, okay, well, this is what I can offer you?
Right. That's a great question.
Yeah.
So usually it's just by starting off, well, we're all in the people business.
Yes.
We're all in the people business. And it's important for people to feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, really, people like to do business with people they like and they trust.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so if your brand is not likable or trustworthy, then most likely people are,
I don't know if I want to work there.
Right.
I don't know if I want to stay here.
I don't know if I want to stay here. And so many times, I guarantee you can go into any human resources department and they will give you a list of complaints in terms of, conflict resolution, and he didn't talk to me, and they took credit for my work, and it's filled with that, where some of that could be resolved if they had
Yes.
some etiquette training.
I
Like, this
love
is the way that
that.
you do that. When you receive a feedback, this is how you should,
Yes.
how you conduct a meeting, right? You're going to a meeting. You know you have that meeting, so be prepared for it.
Yes.
Be prepared for your meeting.
I love that. Because,
Be on time. Like, there's so many things.
So,
many
okay,
things.
so starting out, like, okay, so if you go to a company and say, hey, I can assist you, and they're trying to figure out, well, how can you assist us? Do you start out with, let me see what your complaints are?
Yes.
Do you read the Google reviews?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely. What are you struggling with?
Yes.
What
yes.
Is administration? Is it managers?
Mm-hmm.
Is it your employees not coming to work on time?
Yes.
I had one dental office. I love this particular dentist, and he contacted me and asked me to come to do an etiquette workshop. It was a couple of them, but it was about appropriate dress and customer service. And his issue was, he had a Christmas party at the Jefferson Hotel, by the way, and he said he just couldn't believe how some of them were acting. He said, he said the dress code, first of all, he said some of them were just dressed inappropriately. So what people forget is that
what's inappropriate, for a company, and I don't care, or are you afraid to tell them how to dress? Right. Am I going to offend?
Exactly. That's a big part of it. But what we don't realize, if you're going to a company-sponsored event, it still work.
It still works.
Yes. So we forget that piece. So there is still an etiquette. There's still a way to do things.
Okay. You guys will listen, especially your little youngins. Okay. Because I know you guys show up. Oh, it's a free bar. I can eat all I want to eat. I can order all I want to order.
I can drink all I want.
Yes. And with that comes some consequences, because usually that's when the drama starts.
There you go. You nailed it. And that's what we tell them.
Oh,
right. So if you're going to a company-sponsored event, maybe 1 or 2 drinks, but keep it there. Right. Because if you go any further, that's where the drama. There's going to be too much information said. You might do something, say something that's going to, end up sexual harassment. Like, who knows? So 1 or 2.
It's preventives.
There you go.
It's a preventive. The etiquette helps with the preventives.
Exactly. And sometimes it's just knowing, because people don't always know.
Absolutely. And so do you do like mock little...
Oh,
yes. So even with the business stuff,
Yes. We have to.
Yeah. Having that conversation.
Because that's how people learn. People learn by doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because I never want it to be like a lecture where I'm just standing there talking. No, people learn by seeing and by doing. So let's talk about some scenarios, right? How this relates to you. And usually people get it by then, like, okay.
So how did that office's team take it? Because a big part of it was the dress code and all these different things.
They actually did well.
Really? They were receptive.
They were receptive. So I had a PowerPoint, so I had slides, and then I had actually like manipulatives. I had things that they could see what's inappropriate and what is appropriate and why it's inappropriate. So it's not just me telling them it's inappropriate, but it's inappropriate because of this, and this, right? You're in the medical field.
Yes.
There's got to be sanitation. It's got to be clean. Like there's these different things. On top of that, you have an employee handbook.
That nobody reads.
Right.
If my doctor's watching this, I'll ask her something. Did they read the handbook? I'm like, probably not.
Probably not. But you know what helps with that?
Yes.
Doing a scavenger hunt with the employee handbook.
That's a phenomenal. Okay.
Yeah. That helps.
I'm going to put that on my list.
Yes, that helps. Because then people are forced to read it because they got to find the information, right? So doing a scavenger hunt is a lot of fun.
That is an amazing idea. So what I love about that doctor, because I don't know him, but he invested in his team.
Oh, yes.
It's the investment, because I think a lot of, even when it comes to businesses, so you have people who, one, they're investing in themselves to come sit with you to do a table setting, which I think that's amazing.
It is.
And then the business side of it, my staff needs some help with this, or my company needs some help with this.
Yes.
And how do they even come to the place of knowing who you are and where you are, and finding you, and how do I know I need this etiquette training?
Right. So for me, so far, what it's been is referral.
Okay.
Or people being aware and knowing that they need something and they go search. So I had a client last year, one of my largest clients actually in the last few years since the pandemic, they contacted me because they were searching for that on the website.
Really?
So, and then they found me.
So were they just looking for certain verbiage? Because was it etiquette or was it certain verbiage?
It was etiquette.
Really?
They were, right, because they themselves, they were familiar with etiquette.
Got it.
And they had etiquette training. They were in the military before, now president of this company. And so they wanted to invest in their team. And when I got with their HR personnel, she told me, oh, this is what he does.
Oh,
He invests into, yes.
It is who he
It
is.
is who he is.
And so he wants, you know, I mean, yeah, we're not going to all be exactly the same.
No.
But I want, if somebody calls this company, to sound like the company.
Exactly.
Not like you, because it's not about you.
Exactly.
It's about the company or the people that you're presenting.
That's right.
Oh my goodness gracious. I love it. I love it. I love it. Can you give us a couple of tips on proper etiquette for hosting a formal dinner party?
Oh, that's good. So for hosting a formal dinner party, definitely you want to know yourself about the different styles of dining.
Okay.
You know, if you want to do American or continental.
Okay.
That helps to elevate. Do you have to do it? No.
Yes.
But if you want to really elevate your event,
I am so
yes.
bad with eating, because now I'm thinking about this whole thing and I'm like, do I use a fork for anything anymore? Do I, like, you know, yeah, you have all this stuff on the table, but are we cooking that way? Is it that we're not cooking that way? Is that what it is? That's what it is.
We're not cooking that way.
Okay.
We're not being intentional about the whole process.
Yes.
Right. So typically when you have your place setting, we'll just do something.
Yes.
3 or 4 course meal.
Okay.
So your 4 course meal is going to be your salad.
Okay.
Your main entree. I'm sorry. Your soup, salad.
Yes.
Your main entree and your dessert.
Okay.
So most of us probably do 3 course.
Yes.
Right. But depending on how many courses you have, you're going to have the same number of forks.
Oh,
right. So if
okay,
you have
so I just use the one little
right,
one, or the plastic one I keep washing from Chick-fil-A. This is terrible. Or my stolen forks from Chick-fil-A or from Wawa. This is bad.
But listen, take all of your good china out and use it for yourself.
You know, when my friends come over, that's what I do for them.
No, do it for you.
I need to. Well, I do eat on a glass plate myself. Like if my family pulls out, I'm eating on a glass plate.
Right.
But when my friends come over, I set out the best of everything. Now, but my place setting, that's what I got to work on. Because when I get home, I'm gonna be so happy to send Christine my whole little situation.
I love it. I can't wait.
I really do. And my friends, when they come, I try to make it such a real nice experience. I want to make an experience for them, right?
Make it special for them.
Make it special. Yes. So typically, and they can tell you, because I post it on Facebook all the time when they come by. I'll do like a table for painting, a separate table for dining. But the dining thing, I got to get in order. I'm going to get this in order. I'm gonna so get this in order, because I just decided to host the Christmas one again, and so I'm gonna get this in order. I'm gonna send you some pictures and some videos.
Yes. But along with that, of course, just finding out if there are any dietary restrictions to your guests that are coming.
Not just you got to eat whatever I got.
Right.
So I am so bad. And my friends are so good about that with me, because I changed my diet. I told you that.
Yes.
And so they're like, oh, hey, Farrah, we know you don't eat this anymore. We're going to cook this. Yes. So the last event that I had at my home, they made a salad for me. Beautiful. Separate of me making an entree for them. Right. So I still made an entree, and I didn't force them into my eating.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's important. And you just want to be strategic in terms of how you have the setting.
Yes.
Not too much now, but years ago, people were more concerned about who sits where.
Yes.
And I think that's still important depending on who the person is. So you may want to sit this person beside this person, because maybe this person is quieter, but you want to sit them beside someone who's a little bit more talkative, or not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't, because they don't like to do a lot of talking. Or, your spouse may sit at one end of the table, or, just there's a way to do that. And so sometimes you might want to consider that.
Okay. So I need to do that. But okay, Phase 10 Divas, next time you come to my house, I'm going to have this down pat. I do pull out the glass for you ladies. You know I do that. And I'm going to be doing some more things at home with some other friends, like other groupings of friends.
Yes.
I want to do like a vision board, at night and things like that. But I want to make sure that I have all of this, there.
I love that for you.
So what are the most challenging aspects of teaching etiquette, and how do you overcome it?
I think the most challenging aspects of teaching etiquette is really just getting over people's old idea of what etiquette is.
Yes.
Because once I'm able to dissolve that, then I'm able to, they're more open to receive it. So I think that's probably the most challenging part.
As I'm thinking about the etiquette piece, it's like I think about, we look at it as being so, we have to sit a certain way.
Right.
And so it's like the fun is taken out of it, right?
Yes.
So how do you put that fun, because it's not meant to be this laughter and all these different things, right? So how do you do it where the person doesn't feel uncomfortable because they're feeling stuffy?
So what I do is typically when I go in, I break the ice with them so if people feel comfortable. I give them some jokes and make them laugh. I think that's really important.
Yes.
Because it's not about It's not for the elite. It's not for a certain class. It's for
Yes.
all of us. So I think really just speaking to their hearts and letting them know that I'm here. I'm rooting for you.
Okay.
I want this for you.
Yes.
And I think that people can feel that, and
Mhm.
they believe me.
Yes.
So I think that's way of kind of like breaking the ice and making people feel more comfortable, and just letting them know I'm not here to judge you.
Yes.
I'm here to help you. This is a classroom. We're learning together.
Absolutely.
And then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when I put Miles Monroe on them and tell them that there's a purpose to everything, then they're like, oh, okay.
Yes. I love
so
it.
that helps.
I love it. And that's a big part of the overcoming part.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to a person who wants to improve their etiquette but doesn't know where to start? Because that would be me, because I'm going to be messaging you, Christine, send me a picture of your place setting. Or where you get that china from?
Right.
Again, how we talk to each other, right?
Yes.
Because, I mean, yeah, we're having fun and we're cutting up, but there's some environments, like you said, you want to be like this elite person. You know, you want to show them that, you know, because my grandkids.
Oh, they're sweet.
The food everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are y'all doing at that table?
Yes. I have a 4 and a 7-year-old. And I teach them etiquette, but we still have to continuously, maybe because I'm NOLA.
Yes.
So it's a little different. You have to send them somewhere else to learn.
I've got to do something, because I mean, Alana loves dropping the food to the dogs.
Yeah.
And she'll
hide it and kind of like,
I don't want to eat this or whatever. There's food all over the counter, and I'm like, oh, they're there at the table for so long.
Yeah.
What do you guys? They don't want it. You know.
No, I tell my daughter is to sit with them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you sit with them and you're having conversation, not only are you engaging with them and listening to what they have to say, but then you can also monitor that. Yeah. So just leaving them there is not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Not until they get older.
And I do remember my daughter going to a restaurant with them, and she called, was like, Mom,
oh no,
I had to leave. I so wanted this Red Lobster
oh,
so bad.
Goodness.
And these two, I'm dropping them to your house. I don't even want to take them home.
Wow.
And they were cutting up. And so I do need to just sit, because you know what it is? It's like, let me make their plates real quick and I'll eat my stuff over here.
Right.
You know, we've gotten so much into
eating
that.
Together.
Is the meeting together and the sitting together.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want my son to feel like I'm pressuring him, but I'm like, he eats, you know, everybody eats whenever. But when we were kids, we ate at a certain time.
Right.
We got home from school, we had a little fun, and then we knew, okay, dinner's ready. We all sat at the table together.
And what I want to challenge our families, if at all possible, you may not be able to make dinner every night. And I get it, because our schedules are pretty busy.
Yes.
You know, everybody's working late. You've got soccer practice. You're going to church. Like it's never ending. So I totally get that. But if you can carve out that one day where this is what we do in our family, we come together and we eat together. Yes. Then people get excited. They look forward to that. You know, they bring their friends over, other people. That hospitality, that spirit of hospitality.
I like the friend thing, even like making it where it's not just family, but it's like we're opening up our home to others.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to do that more when I get home. So how do you stay updated on changes and trends in etiquette?
Ooh, one of the ways, of course, like anything, is just continuous learning.
Yes.
There are people that I admire in this space as well. Okay. Micah Meyer, she's in New York. She does amazing work. Okay. So staying connected with her. There's so many of them. There's Jackie Thomas in Florida. Okay. And Diane Gottsman, she's in Texas, I believe.
Are there any meetups or like any Zooms? I mean, how do you do that?
Well, they do have them. So like Jackie has an etiquette conference every year.
Wow.
So she brings etiquette leaders together. Okay. So many of them do the same.
Yes.
And so that's a great way for us to exchange information and to learn from one another.
Got it.
Yes.
And so have you brought your, your training and skills into like the workplace here? So like the Jefferson Hotel wants you to come to a certain event, like, a wedding or a bride and groom, or, I don't know, there's so many different ways you can do it. A tea party.
Yes.
Like, have you ever done that?
I have. So I've done tea parties. Okay. I've done birthday parties as well. And ladies groups.
Are there tea rooms here?
They are growing here in Richmond. Yes. There are tea rooms that are just growing. It's amazing. There's probably like 4 or 5 of them.
That is so
And there
amazing.
was one, I just can't think of the name right now. They were on Franklin, on Main Street by the Jefferson. They've since relocated and opened up a bigger space. So yes, it's becoming more and more popular, and it's very exciting to see.
I think that with the tea rooms, because I went to one recently with a friend, and we had such a great time. But they bought us out the teas and just put like a little thing of pastries and things there. So it was no like I look at the whole,
Yes.
ambiance of it. And
Right.
me and another friend went to a tea party. I'm giving her a shout out, Beatrice. She's a really good friend of mine, and she's from the UK. And so, they're used to doing things there a certain way,
Right.
tea and the sandwiches and the
Yes.
pastries and
Yes.
these little things. She's like, okay, you guys don't do it the same way. She was so gracious about it.
Oh,
And, she was so gracious about
of
it.
course.
But the last place we went to was really nice. It's a young lady. It's called the Pretty Pink Tea Room.
Is that in Atlanta?
Apopka. It's in Apopka.
Oh, okay.
In Apopka, Florida.
Okay.
And I want to give her a shout out. The Pretty Pink Tea Room in Apopka is
Wow.
so beautiful.
Wow.
An African-American young girl who started this company, and it is so gorgeous when you walk in there.
I'll have
Completely
to visit.
pink. And I don't know if I posted pictures on my Facebook page, but I'm going to do a little TikTok for it so I can get it out there for her.
Wonderful.
But it was so pretty. And just, we went in there, and what I loved is that I think that I didn't have time to order. Okay, friends, y'all told me to order from Temu. Temu stuff does not come fast. I did not get my doggone hat on time, my little fashionista situation.
Oh, no.
And so I made my own the last time. And so when I got there, she had all of it there for us, like all these little hats and
Beautiful.
all different sizes. I mean, it was just such a sweet spirit in there.
Yes.
I think that it was like, it was like her grandmother's love, placed into that from what she shared. And it was so beautiful. But yeah, we got dressed up. We had little outfits on. I had our little fashionistas on, our little lace little gloves.
Ooh,
and it was just
nice.
so sweet. And she does a ton of events there. So please check her out for sure. I'm gonna post her on my Facebook page and on Instagram and on TikTok for sure. But
Beautiful.
so that's just a small amount of events you do. What else?
Yes. So definitely working with bride and grooms.
Yes.
Because
they're sitting up there at the front. Everybody's watching
right,
them.
Everybody's watching them,
right?
So they want to make sure that their etiquette, their dining
Yes.
etiquette, their table manners are on point.
Mhm.
So I've worked with folks like that. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was a group that came in to the Jefferson for an etiquette class. They had an etiquette consultant there,
Got it.
but they asked me to come in and offer some etiquette from a hospitality standpoint.
Got
so that
it.
was really great, just
I
working
love
with
that.
them. But what I love about what I do is I get to work with so many different groups of people.
Yes.
So a couple of weeks ago, I worked with Virginia Union University,
Wow.
which was amazing, working with those freshmen coming in, class of 2028. So that was
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I've worked with
a lot of students.
a lot of students.
Oh my goodness.
And so I let them know, like, listen, I am so excited. I know you don't feel it right now because
yes.
you're like this etiquette
because those
thing.
poor little babies coming in. My husband has a nephew that's starting this year. Shout out to Jamar. He graduated from a school in New York City.
Wow.
He's going to be his freshman at Virginia State, and so I'm super excited for
Excellent.
him. But yeah, how do you go into the school with these students and they're like, because they're just leaving mom's house.
Yeah. Oh, but they were
and all that they've learned.
When I tell you, they were soaking it up like a sponge.
Wow.
After that, I had students coming up to me asking, even when I was doing my presentation, they had so many questions, and I love that. So I get to work with high school students,
Yes.
college students, across Virginia, local businesses, so real estate firms, dental offices, hair salons. I have one of my favorite hair salons. Shout out to Hair Perfection in Short Palm.
Oh,
love you.
Short Palm.
Yes.
Awesome.
Wonderful. The
Wow.
owner, her name is Jennifer, just a wonderful person.
Awesome.
This is a woman that invests in professional development for her
I
people.
love that.
She has me coming in.
Because it's professional development, I can see it as like a team building thing, but I see it as that professional development as a part of that.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
because-
I've
Yeah.
done just different industries. So it's very exciting. It is very
And
exciting.
you've made yourself where you're flexible and you're not like, okay, I can only work in this space. I can only work in that space.
No.
Like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to work it in this space.
Absolutely.
If someone reaches out.
Yeah, I've worked for different local counties with their summer youth camp.
Yeah.
Then I've worked with Williamsburg with their youth camp. So just
Love
working with
it.
different, yes. And so I love it. I love to be
it.
able to make an impact. And if I can do it in this way, that's
Yes.
great. That's great.
So what did your mom think about you naming your company after your
I
grandfather?
know, she was very proud because she asked me,
Really?
like, what made you decide to do that?
Because I thought about that as you were talking about it earlier. I'm like, oh my God, what did the family think of that?
Yeah, my mom was pretty excited. She's like,
Really?
wow, that's very honorable. I said, yeah.
Yes,
After
it is
hearing those
honorable.
great stories about my great grandfather, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Okay, so you're writing a book now, and this is a little
Yes.
secret. And so, because I came to visit Christine in this beautiful house. I mean,
Yes.
oh my God, it's so
Yes.
gorgeous in here. She's here writing her book. And will it be on etiquette?
It will be on etiquette.
Okay. And will you have some things that, some historical things about your grandfather?
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Excited.
Yes, I will.
Yes,
I will.
excited.
It's gonna be great. And it's not a long read.
Okay.
We want it so that you can pick it up. You can go directly to, American or continental or how to host.
Yes.
And you can go directly to it and learn how to do that with some pictures and some great stories that you can relate to. And so I'm really excited. That should be forthcoming. More information to follow.
Yes.
But yes.
As I think back to, we had a family matriarch, and she always had us at her house for, all of the seasons and all the, like, the Easter dinners and Christmas and all of that stuff. And I don't remember us eating on paper plates and stuff like that. Wow. I remember us eating on plates as kids. And, our kids are eating on
anything they can find.
Leftover Wawa containers. All kinds of stuff.
Yes. And, listen, I get it. Convenience, right?
Yes.
I totally understand. So not knocking it.
And I know we don't want to wash the dishes and all of that stuff, right? Because, we don't want to be in the kitchen afterwards.
Right.
But I do find myself, and I have had times where I had my granddaughter, like, help me set the table, or to keep them busy in a way where it has a form of etiquette, like, helping me to clean a certain way or do things. And just showing them from young.
Yes, exactly.
From young.
And also, I feel that it's an expression of love.
Yes.
So when I take the time to prepare this meal for you and then put it on a pretty beautiful plate, because presentation is important. It's not everything, but it's important. So I take the time to place it a certain way because I love you. I want to show you how much I value it, how much you mean to me, right? And so sometimes we don't see that right away, but I've heard so many stories of people talking about, oh, my mom used to do this, my grandmother used to do that, my grandfather, and this is how it made me feel. So I think that's important.
I love that. Oh my, I can't wait to see your grandkids grow up. And you know who? Okay, so your grandkids, what are their names? And
so Josiah and Adonis. Adonis is 4, and Josiah is 7.
So it's 2 boys.
2 boys.
Okay, got it. So the boys are gonna do this. I don't want to, just push it.
We hope. Fingers crossed.
Yes, we don't want to push it into like just the space of a female, but males do this as well. Right?
You know what? One of my classes last year, I had 3 males in my class. So it's not. And then earlier this year, I had a couple, a husband and wife, take my dining etiquette course.
And fine dining, I didn't realize that there was training for that.
There is.
So are you fitting yourself into that space as well?
So I'm wanting to do that. I'm trying to find out how I can connect, and I've sort of been looking into like Forbes, because Forbes is this whole training. So I
because I've seen that. I don't know if it was on YouTube or what, but I saw like someone training people for fine dining, like where to place the glasses at, how to have the napkin over the arm, and all of that. And I didn't know there was a space for that.
Oh yes, there is training for that.
Wow.
Yeah, there is training for that.
We appreciate you guys working at Chili's, Applebee's, all these places. Because first of all, working with people, period, is tough.
It is tough.
It is tough, and let alone fine dining.
Right.
Like that's huge. I love. There's a restaurant in Orlando that I love, Flemming's. And I'm sure they have one here, Steakhouse.
They do.
If you ever have a steak from Fleming's, you will not want to eat a steak anywhere else. Of course, Ruth Chris, but Fleming's is one of my absolute favorite. And there is fine dining. And when you go, you just feel like royalty.
You feel You feel so special.
You feel so special.
Yes,
and all of the
I love
dishes
that.
and everything. I have definitely been holding the fork and knife. You said hold the fork in the left hand.
Yes. And here's a quick tip to remember that.
Okay.
Fork has 4 letters in it.
Okay.
Left has 4 letters in it.
Okay.
So you can place your.
Okay, so you got your fork.
So
the different size forks mean.
Right. So you salad typically, and your main entree.
Okay.
And you always start on the outside and then work your way
in.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Okay, ladies, I got this. And then, but you said when you cut.
Oh.
Then you put the knife down.
Right. If you're doing American.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Cut.
Okay.
Rest. You balance your knife on the top of your plate.
Oh, on the plate. Okay, now.
And then you switch table.
My good table is, who knows where that knife end up at? Because fell on the floor and everything. So once you balance the knife on the table,
then you switch hands.
Then switch it.
And then you. Exactly.
So, but you said. Okay. So am I turning the fork around?
Yeah. So now the tines of the fork are up the way you eat now.
Got it. Okay.
But in the continental is different. So continental is I have my knife in my right hand.
Yep.
I'm cutting. Then I rest my wrist, and then I pivot up to my mouth with the
Okay.
tines still upside down, so I don't
Okay.
turn my fork over.
So like it's like you're not shoveling it because the fork is curved up. You're doing it down.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Got it.
And so that's how you continue to eat. You keep that knife in your hand.
Yeah.
You cut. You rest. You pivot.
Mm-hmm.
You pierce your food. Not.
Mhm.
I always say not stab.
Stabbing
it like it's pierce. You pierce your food. You cut.
Mm-hmm.
You rest your wrist. You pivot.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
We are some heathens. We've been eating like.
Listen, one of a good friend of mine. She told me that she taught etiquette to her kids, and
Yes.
her sons are my age.
Okay.
But she said he had an opportunity to go to the White House. I think it was about 7 years ago. And he was so thankful. He said, "Mom, I'm so glad you taught me." He said, because here I was at the White House, right?
Oh my goodness.
And I felt comfortable. He said, I could see
yes.
other people were struggling to figure out, like,
what do I do? What do I do? I love it.
Right.
Did you guys enjoy Christine today? Oh my gosh. I'm so listen, I learned something. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to do better, even with my lunch. So listen, Christine does have a giveaway. So you want to share that with them?
Yes, I have a giveaway. It's a free consultation with me.
Yes.
It could be in person or Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
right? All you have to do, this is something you have to do,
you
right?
Have to do something.
Yes. So you will need to tag me on your social.
Yes.
And share it to your stories. And you will be entered an opportunity to get this. The first person to do that, actually.
The first person to do it, yes.
First person.
So once this video posts, I'm going to have this on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all of her details of all of her platforms will be in there. So how should they do that? Just on any platform?
Yeah, I think on any platform is fine, because we'll monitor on.
So she's going to monitor that.
What we'll do is we'll do one for each platform.
Oh, I love that.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are getting, this is good because, usually people who give away stuff on my channel, it's like one or done.
Yes.
Okay, so that's amazing. So that means 4 of you guys, let me see, how many platforms do you have? You have Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got TikTok.
And LinkedIn.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to have all of that on the description. So make sure you see the description below. This was so much fun.
Yay,
I'm so happy. Listen, when I got here to record with Christine, I was like, oh my God, I'm rushing. I was so happy to come to Richmond. It was one of those divine detours that I'm here. And I said, okay, gosh, I got to get back to the airport. I said, I got to rush this interview. And then on the way here, my friend said, Farrah, your flight has been canceled.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, okay, I can just relax in this.
Yes.
We can, because it would have just not been good for me to be rushing. You. I don't ever like to do, interviews with rushing anyone. And so I'm so happy we had a chance to just have some girl time, some girl chat, mess around with equipment, because you guys have no idea what went on before this happened. Ooh. And then just to be able to just talk about family and what she's been doing, and for her to come and share with you on a Sunday afternoon. I appreciate you so much. But I know she was here writing her book, which will be, did you come up with a title yet? Not yet. I want to share that yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay, not yet. So please follow her on all of her socials, and you will, when that book comes out, I have got to connect you with my friend, Anika Allen, who's a friendship consultant. Like, so much of this can go with that.
I love that.
You guys have got to do
love that.
Something together on Zoom. Anika is amazing. I'm going to do a part 2 with her.
Okay.
I did record with her. So many of you all reached out about that episode, and you loved her presentation. Because this all goes with relationships and the etiquette of it, and the respect, and I can just so see how those two intermingle.
I love that.
And so, Anika, I'm going to send this to you, Anika. So please connect with Christine, and I would love to see you guys partner and do something.
And how about doing friendship over tea?
Ooh,
we like that.
I love that. Okay, so listen, Anika, I know you're watching, and all the girls who know Anika in Orlando and everywhere, because her socials, I love. She does videos every day, reels every day, and she has so much good information. So much good information, and so it would be great for her to be in her kitchen and you to be where you're at, and you guys have this whole. Wouldn't you guys like to see that? Because I was watching one of her videos this week on friendships with the opposite sex, and so I started watching it. I didn't finish, and that was really good. And I had an opportunity. I saw Anika a few weeks ago at Women on the Rise. Shout out to Arlene Blake, who was over that organization. It was so much fun. She always shares a wealth of knowledge and how much community and friendships are so important to our overall health.
Yes.
And so I think that this would be an amazing duo. So I want to see that so bad. So I will definitely connect you too. I'm so happy you came. Thank you
Farrah,
I'm
so excited
much.
and so thankful for you. I'm thankful that you were obedient. I'm thankful that you are the person that you are.
Thank
that
you.
you are loving, you are kind, you're considerate. You want more for people than even they may even know or want for themselves, but that you're so open to receive.
Yes.
You know, I'm so thankful.
You were on my mind for like I said I have got to record with him when I get to Richmond. I don't care what I got to do to move.
Wow, it's amazing.
And just for us to run smack dab into each other. And Harriet, I had just had this conversation with her in the car. I said, I'm bringing my podcast equipment with me. I have 2 people I want to interview. I said, Christine Carmichael, I got to get with her this weekend. I don't know how I'm going to contact her.
Wow.
And we were at the summit at the same time. And she made time and space for me, and I had her on my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful.
And thank you for coming down to Petersburg.
It's beautiful.
Petersburg, Virginia.
Yes. And I've been, to this area a lot, but this side is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Petersburg.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of history.
Yes.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was here several times.
Really?
In Petersburg. There's so much history here.
Wow.
Pocahontas Island is here.
Yes.
Of course, you have all the Civil War history as well.
Yes.
So lots of things going on here. And I'm really excited to be here and to see some of the shift and some of the changes.
Yes.
One of my favorite, what I call it, favorite indulgences.
Oh, what is it? Where?
It's called the Buttery Baking House on Old Street in Petersburg.
Oh.
And everyone from Petersburg knows exactly what I'm talking about. So amazing. The food, when I tell you, it is just amazing.
So it's not just a bakery, it's like an actual.
Well, it's a baking house, right?
Yes.
But the food that they present, all of their goodies, it's 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Absolutely. You can taste the quality ingredients. Like I love banana bread and zucchini bread.
Yes. Oh.
She has actual bananas.
Oh my goodness.
That has been baked into it.
Yes.
It's
you know what? Okay, so we're gonna make Christine some money. We're gonna get her making some money. I can so see you going into all these restaurants and they have events. For them to present an event, to have an etiquette person come in. Like,
yes.
I mean, I have so many ideas with this.
Oh, let me tell you something else, because I love to eat.
Okay.
And I've had to make some changes with my diet as well. Okay. Not had to, but Holy Spirit was like, it's time to make a change.
Yes.
But I love to eat and I love to try different things. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I absolutely am passionate about or want to do more of is going into restaurants and just kind of saying, hey, this is what I saw. Mm-hmm. This is something that you can possibly work on. If you're trying to up your game and elevate, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't always see that customer experience.
Yes.
It's important. Mm-hmm. But just going in there and trying different foods and I love that.
I love it. Mm-hmm. Listen, we are believing for her that she's going to do so. I mean, you're doing phenomenal now, but I know that I can see this going so many different places. I had no idea that there was a space for this, and you are wearing it so well.
Oh, thank you.
You are so wearing it well.
Thank you so
I appreciate you taking the time. I had such a good time. I cannot wait to post this video, but I want you guys to not forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel and for sharing. And honestly, the audience, you guys really push me, because when I don't post videos, you all let me know.
They're like, where are you?
Yes, they do. And so you guys are holding me to a standard. So I'm asking for all of you guys to believe with me this year that this will be something that will take over my life in a way that I've never seen it take over, because this space is for women in ministry in the marketplace. I really want to push women in ministry. I want to push women who are in the marketplace, who have their own companies, their own ideas, authors. I have so many different women that come on here and they do so many different things.
So many different things.
And I love that, and I'm here to push that. And so I appreciate you all. Again, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Again, Christine, I'm going to have all of her platforms there. For the first person that reaches out to her on Facebook and all of her other platforms, IG, TikTok, and LinkedIn, you will be getting that free consultation with Christine. For anybody who's getting married, if you want to, do a team building for your office, if you're willing to invest in those around you, call her. Your children, maybe a little tea party for your daughters, or, for your family, like maybe for Thanksgiving dinner, preparing that type of stuff.
Exactly.
Hey, the season is now. So please reach out to her. She will love to hear from you. Until next time, we can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Until next time. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Did you enjoy Christine Hunter-Carmichael of the Flemming Academy of Etiquette and Protocol? If you want to win that free consultation, be sure to reach out to Christine in one of her many platforms. They'll all be in the description box. Until next time.